Hello? We're back. We're talking to John Wolfe.
I don't spook easy.
And this is the Stephen King area of the island.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a very Stephen King story we're about to play.
That place got me breaking out in goosebumps. Not spooked, not that, but affected. In a bad way. It's a cold place. Funny thing with that house. It wasn't haunted.
Yeah, this is very Stephen King.
Yeah, I'm since being almost completely unfamiliar with Stephen King, I'm gonna have to rely on you for a lot of this one.
The theme of people fucking over a magically powerful person and killing them, and then that being a stain on the community is very Stephen King.
Mm-hmm. Whether or not he remembers.
If not in one of his longer books, in one of his short story collections. I recommend his short story collections over his books, because they're much more palatable, much easier to read, and the endings are usually better.
I also understand they're less likely to have been written entirely on cocaine.
Well, yeah. Well, there's no guarantee of that. I mean, he doesn't remember writing Cujo.
Yeah, exactly. It's, and there's a thing with art where people talk about, like, basically, there's a certain level of fetishization of hurting yourself while doing art. Sometimes that works, and sometimes that just ends up horribly. Oh, I remember this quest now. I remember bouncing off that doorway.
Yeah, there's an achievement if you do it in a certain time frame, but I don't get it. Even though this is a very simple quest.
Mm-hmm. Do you have okay, this is gonna seem like it comes out of nowhere, but then that's half the stuff I talk about anyway. Do you know what subsonics are? Subsonic vibrations.
Yes, they're inaudible sounds, I think.
Sort of. Specifically sounds that are below the range of human hearing. And like sometimes, I mean, half the time they don't register at all. But there are certain very specific frequencies that cause like feelings of discomfort. They hit the brain just the wrong way, and it causes a feeling like negative bodily. Where I'm looking for, it causes bodily discomfort with no apparent cause, and when you get a lot of old houses that creak or old buildings that shift in their foundations, they release sounds, obviously, but they also release sounds that are subsonic and go underneath your range of hearing and end up inducing feelings of dread, which is one of the things why... Oh, and by the way, Carrie reference, in case you didn't catch it, but which is part of one of the reasons why people think that there's haunted houses have that room. You can feel something wrong in there, is because your body can read something strange is happening, but it doesn't know what, and it's telling you something strange is happening, and you don't know what's going on. Oh, and Black Goat.
I should note something funny. I don't know if I've mentioned it. Do you know what the name of the woods near town in this is?
Yeah, I just saw it. The Black Goat Woods.
The Black Goat with 1,000 young.
Yeah.
Shub-Niggurath. H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, they had to throw Lovecraft in there. It's weird. I mean, Lovecraft sucked. And it's funny. He died at like 30s, in his late 30s, I think. And
colon cancer, yeah.
Yeah. And the last things he wrote are... In the last couple of years of his life, he completely did a 180 on the racism thing. It had defined
I
his life
remember
up to
that,
that
yes.
point. Yeah, actually, have we talked about this? We've probably talked about this.
Yes, H.P. Lovecraft was one of the most racist horror authors of the 20th century. And later in life, he was like, I was a huge idiot for thinking that.
Mhm.
But then he died before he could really do anything about it.
And like the last, and it's funny, the last story he wrote in the Mountains of Madness shows like he talks about things that like horrifying alien creatures and talks about them as describes them specifically as not monsters but men, and that's one of the best things he ever wrote. And if it,
Oh yes, Mountains of Madness is very good, even if it isn't really a horror story. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't define it as that. It's
Yeah.
more it's more conventional adventure story.
yeah, it has definite horror elements, but it's like it's something. Had he lasted longer, this would have been the sort of thing that people point to as a transitional work, but he didn't.
I would have loved him to have lasted longer because I would have loved to see his reaction to the atomic bomb. I mean, can you imagine H.P. Lovecraft
God.
writing fiction in the 50s? Especially with his noted anti-communism. I mean, that would have been... just all the communists would have been worshipping the old ones or something.
That would have been... Man, that would have... The atomic bomb is just... You read... Oh, God, there's actually... I think there... When it comes to Transylvania, we're going to talk more about it.
Apparently, to sit like a tortoise, walk like a pigeon, and sleep like a dog.
Is that...
What he would have written Charlie Strauss's Colder War.
Yeah, well, I mean, without the comedy and Britishness, but...
fast in this place.
No.
Oh,
I'm
that's
talking
a
about a
different
different...
Yeah.
Yes, Colder War is a very serious story. What if the Cold War but Cthulhu?
Yeah.
And it's a very bleak ending.
He's got history with the
I think I vaguely...
into an amusement park.
It's free on the internet. I recommend people reading it. It's very good.
He keeps out of mine.
And now we're gonna meet Jack O'Lantern again.
Jack, he's all yours.
Oh, Jack O'Harvest,
even said it.
excuse you.
He even said Kemosabe.
Oh, did he?
Good signpost, you're getting close. That and the pumpkins. After meeting the melon-headed freak face to vegetable, I lost my appetite for pumpkin pie. I just keep seeing an eye in there.
Also, if you're hearing those goo goo gaga noises, those are part of the soundtrack whenever you're near the kindergarten. I forget what the kindergarten is called. I think it's Dream House Kindergarten or something. No, Dream Quest. Dream Quest Kindergarten. And that is a reference to another Lovecraft story, The Dream Quest
That's
of Unknown Kadath.
Which is another adventure story that has horror elements. You know, years ago they released the Call of Cthulhu tabletop game. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I'm very familiar.
Yes. They released, like, in the 80s or something, a full curriculum for Arkham University. And I spent years looking for it. And I found it out of the book itself where it was published. It was the most boring fucking thing. It was literally just like... it did not have a single class that you wouldn't find in an ordinary university. It was such a disappointment.
Really? There was no, like, ancient languages or...
I mean, I think there was like ancient languages, but like ancient languages 1 or 2, and the course descriptions were like Sumerian and ancient Egyptian. Like nothing's... It described very dryly and something you might find in a particularly classics-focused university in the real world. It was nothing special, which was just it's heartbreaking.
Well, when we see we'll see part of the curriculum at Innsmouth Academy, which is much more...
That one's
much different.
Innsmouth Academy. It's one of those things where you look at the Hogwarts curriculum and you wonder if they come out able to perform multiplication, and how much that must screw them over later in life. In Innsmouth Academy, from what I remember, that's kind of what it's like over there.
No, Innsmouth has regular classes, but a lot of their classes are very... Yes.
Oh.
They have a mathematics professor. They have an English professor.
Oh, that's good. That's better.
It's a very well-rounded education. The Illuminati would have nothing less.
True. Oh, and there he is.
Jack is in every area of Maine, or Kingsmouth Island, or whatever this place is called, I forget.
Solomon Island, I think.
Solomon Island, yes. There's a Jack quest in every area.
I do like how the scarecrows use chainsaws here. Also look like Resident Evil 4 villains. Do you think that's a deliberate reference?
I don't think it's a deliberate reference. I mean, the Resident Evil 4 guy is just a dude with a sack on his head. These are very much B-movie monsters.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, that's another thing that I haven't played. I just know by reputation screenshot.
And there's Jack again. Yeah, now that I've unlocked all the shotgun skills, I've put together the bar I use on my other character, which mainly revolves around that one right-click skill, which is just very powerful single blast of the shotgun. And most of this build just focuses on doing that a lot.
Whatever works. I remember playing Path of Exile, and all I did was summon zombies and skeletons and throw the occasional fireball, and that got me through the entire campaign. If you find one exploit and it works, then it works. Not Revenants. I remember watching the very first Secret World trailer, which was just a Templar fighting a Revenant with a shotgun, and it was the greatest thing. It was... I think that was the second, and the first was a dragon fighting a Rakshasa in a bathroom.
In-game footage or animated?
Oh, this is animated. This is like at least a year or two before the game was even demoed. It's one of those things where they showed this thing and then had Dark Days Are Coming on it. I don't even know if they'd gotten to the point where they'd released the name Secret World. It was very clearly an ARG. I remember there were a lot of ARG things around this, which is kind of in character.
Yeah, you can't actually defeat Jack-o'-lantern.
Though I understand if you have other priorities on the island. By the way, you have other priorities on the island. Sonic's like, I know, that's nice. Get the fuck back to work. That's not why you're here.
Listen, I go where the quest markers are, okay? Do you want to know a great fact?
What?
Canonically, between that bee crawling in your mouth and the end of Tokyo, only a week passes.
What?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty extreme. Huh. Yet no wonder everyone back at base is so salty about you climbing the ranks quickly. Because you did. That is kind of mind-bending. That's... Man, most characters must spend the rest of their eternal lives waking up with nightmares after that. After this 1 week.
And canonically, it's not over.
We built a
I
treehouse
mean,
out of scavenged
after
wood.
Tokyo, there's South Africa, where you infiltrate the Morning Light. And then that storyline is supposed to be followed up by going deep into the Congo and finding the leader of the Morning Light. But that hasn't been released, and I don't know if it ever will be.
Never returns to the branch. But you only
That sounds like a
like to.
public relations nightmare.
There's a treehouse north of here.
You really
Built
don't
last
want to
decade, solid
Heart
as
of
the
Darkness
ocean.
it.
Kids who built it were part of a club. Called themselves the League of Monster Slayers, without a hint of irony. Because that's exactly what they were. See, the window between worlds has always been open a crack on this island.
I'd say it's open more than a crack now.
Sometimes slip through. Kids knew that. They feared it. But they still wanted to fight it. So they built the clubhouse as a lookout, a library, a base of operations. Been there for decades, Red tells me.
This is very
Kids would grow into
Stephen
adults.
King and
Yeah.
also very
That's the
Kids
torch.
Next Door.
And the key to younger generations, so it went.
Damn, I love Kids Next Door.
God,
That's
that was a good
great-ass
show.
cartoon.
The treehouse.
And we'll never see the creator's sequel series that he pitched.
Yeah. I didn't hear about that.
I found out the hard
Galactic
way.
Kids Next Door. He put up a teaser for it. But Cartoon Network didn't bite.
Fond of that spot.
He should pitch it to Netflix. They'd probably bite.
Yeah, they probably would.
Perhaps the kids
That sounds like the sort of thing that Netflix
something the malls
like
are
would
afraid
jump
of.
on and immediately
I
kind of
wouldn't
they'd make it live
underestimate
action though, unfortunately. Or they might not.
Before the mountain and by the grace of nature,
'Cause they did
I was allowed to realize.
they did God, She-Ra was really good. Have you seen the Netflix She-Ra?
Club I was part of didn't
I
fight
don't really
monsters
watch
like
TV anymore.
magic.
That's fair.
I heard it was good, but
It was
You
really
know,
good. It was extremely good.
All right.
It's one of those things that it does take a little bit of time to pick up,
Warm nights.
but like, have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I saw part of it. I wasn't really interested in Avatar.
Yeah, that's one of those things that there are people who are probably going to get mad at you, the thread about that, but that's one of those. That's one of those things that picks up later. Like this first season is fine, it's watchable. Second and third season are some of the best animated television ever released. And She-Ra isn't that
Well,
good. But it is
I
pretty good.
I know what will make the thread even matter.
What?
I have not seen all of Avatar. I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes. But I have seen the entirety of the movie.
That doesn't make me mad. It makes me sad. That's less angry and more tragic. Was it as bad as it's supposed to be?
Oh god, it was horrible. I watched the riff tracks and it was still hard to get through.
Yeah, that's how you know, huh?
Look, I have seen every Twilight movie with the riff tracks, and they were still easier to watch than Avatar.
Yeah, at least there was money making those things vaguely watchable, as long as you could get past the subject matter. I think I might have seen the first one, but I haven't seen any of the others.
Are you ready to watch me wander around and try to find the 2 destroyable nests in this whole setting?
Well, I am now.
Because that's what happens, because they don't really mark them. You just gotta go, where's my reticle turn red?
And we have our local insects.
Yes, these are Akkad, which always makes me think of ACAB, but these are weird eldritch insects.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about their mythological origin in real life.
I'm just skimming the. I'm just skimming the lore entries. They were foot soldiers for the Mayans when they brought them along and went native and started to hide eventually.
Right, but a lot of the creatures in this have real mythological underpinnings, so I'm wondering where the hell these things come from.
Yeah, there's probably listed somewhere. They're like the Krygaya wiki might have some info. Nope. Apparently it's the Mayan word for darkness, that name, but I don't actually know. Yeah, can't find anything. It's possible, but
And now I just wander around trying to find that last destroyable nest.
yeah, I remember this place. It's being pretty grody.
Yeah, I would not want to touch anything here.
And like, look, these things are different enough from real insects that I don't care. But I have like a straight and actual genuine phobia of insects. Like a queen ant once got into my college room. I had to get my roommate to come in and shove it out the window, like one of those young queen ants that come out in spring looking to form nests. My roommate had to come in, pick it up, and throw it out the window because I could not be in the same room as it. So I am uninterested in sticking around anything vaguely insect themed. Like
Oh, you were gonna fucking hate Egypt.
oh no, I remember Egypt. I don't like the scorpions.
Yeah, the scorpions and the locusts.
Yeah, I remember fucking hating those things. But again, it's distant enough from real insects that I don't care as much. Just ugh. I mean, these things don't really look like insects. They look insectile, but they also look kind of mammalian, I guess, and a little avian too. They look like something else, which they are. But from now on, anytime I see destructible scenery in this game, I'm going to think of the boulder in the last area, just hopping back up on its perch.
Yes. Welcome to the Kids Next Door treehouse. This is a cool ass treehouse.
I don't think I ever actually made it up in here.
The other thing this reminds me of, Ernest Scared Stupid.
I've never heard of that.
Oh my god, you haven't seen Ernest Scared Stupid?
Nope.
It's the only good Ernest movie.
I don't know what an Ernest movie is.
Oh my god. I can't wait for the thread to inform you, but Ernest movies are like these terrible, low-budget films starring a character, Ernest P. Worrell, and it was just... Most of them were awful. But Ernest Scared Stupid was, like, great when you were a kid. I mean, you defeat the big bad with Mother's Love. Do you know what Mother's Love is? Milk.
Okay. What? Okay.
Yes, they are amazing movies. I highly recommend, if you have not seen Ernest Scared Stupid, watching it. I don't recommend any of the other Ernest movies, because they're all terrible, but I recommend Ernest Scared Stupid.
we're learning all kinds of new things today. That is definitely looking mammalian to me. Might be just me though.
Did you know to complete the museum, you have to max out the achievement for killing a certain number of creatures?
I did not.
Do you know how many Akab you have to kill?
Oh,
2,000.
but don't they only show up like here?
Yep.
Oh. Oh my god, this fucking game.
Yeah, so here's me trying to get that lore, just vainly searching for a way up onto these rocks. Oh my god, I should have recorded my attempt to get some of the lore in Tokyo. I mean, I got it, but it turns out you have to switch to a specific sprint because it has a bigger hitbox.
That sounds like this game. Yeah. If you read the League of Monster Slayers lore, they are think the kids from it doing that professionally. And by that I don't mean, what actually happened at the end of that novel, but like teaming together to purge monsters.
Well, according to the canon, it was mostly for play, and then they actually did kill a monster, and that was the only thing they ever did.
Just like, canon here or in it? Like, because I've never read
Canon here.
Canon here, really?
Canon here.
I remember.
Yes. If I believe, reading it correctly, it was just pretend until there really was a monster, and they managed to defeat it.
Yeah, I remember that part. But I thought that after that, then they started taking it more seriously, and it evolved into like a.
Oh, they did, but they never actually achieved anything.
I know that they released a there's like A through Z. What's the term? Feely, maybe. Like it was a scrapbook of entries for different monsters.
Yeah, it's in the treehouse.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, there's exactly one thing in the lore. First girl to ever join the League of Monster Slayers joined after climbing into the clubhouse and producing a finger that was too long to be human and throwing it down on the ground to prove that she could hunt monsters. So she was allowed into their clubhouse. Other than that,
I guess they really did hunt monsters.
And they are aware of various other monsters, but I didn't see anything that's like proves they killed them. Also, fun fact: Danny Dufresne is the last surviving member.
Yep. Because everybody else on the island dead. If there's one thing I am very grateful to this game for, it is not including child zombies.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Especially because John Wolfe is out of kindergarten.
Yeah. And they do have, look, there are horrible things that happen to children in this game, but it's never treated like it's never treated like for horror, body horror involving children. Essentially, there's a lot of easy things that they could have done, like here and like with the Nazis, that they intentionally skipped around. Usually, those decisions were really, really good.
Now here's me also getting lost looking for footprints. Like I can see them in now watching the replay, but at the time I did not see them.
Yeah. I am so grateful that this game usually uses the yellow outlines to point things out, because I would never see those things against this background. My eyes would just slide over them. These freezes, or I don't know if that's the right word. Those jumping, like those interstitials, I guess, are always beautiful and really well done.
Mm-hmm. I think you mean loading screens.
Yes, I do mean loading screens. Well, I mean maybe not loading screens specifically, but the art on the loading screen as opposed to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And now we get our first real encounter with
You've
Phoenicians.
chosen as bad a time as any for a long weekend upstate, or you're here to do a day's work in the name of whatever master holds your leash. In that case, you've come to the right place. But you're not the first to come here. Hate to break it to you, my friend. We've had all sorts skulking about. Illuminati, Templars, Dragon, Phoenicians. It's like a gold rush.
Someday I'll talk about the real Phoenicians.
They want a piece of it.
And child sacrifice.
Fishermen.
Like how he said, whoever holds your leash, and I'm wearing a fucking Templar armband and tie pin.
Yeah.
Who do you think I'm working for?
The Phoenicians, obviously.
We've split the good work between us. He gets the cushy assignment.
And you were right, he does mention that he gets the shit assignment.
Mm-hmm.
I get deadwood here. He has a waterproof tent and hot food. I get dank cellars and animal crackers. And at least I get to play with more than rotting corpses and pale ghouls. There are strange things going on in the amusement park.
Next video.
Souls trapped inside.
I can't wait for your fucking hour-long rant. The whole video is just going to be you talking about that amusement park.
Okay, and maybe I've played it up too much. I hate the fucking thing, but I don't hate it that much. But it still sucks. I will talk at length about why.
I find it odd that there's a theme park in Maine, but I don't find it wrong. It's very Stephen King. Haunted amusement park seems like something he'd write.
And to me, haunted amusement park is something you'd find in Scooby-Doo.
There are several Goosebumps books.
Yeah, that it is
about haunted amusement parks.
It's that Solomon Island is one giant cliche with a bunch of it's like a diamond, except every facet's a different overused trope. But the theme park is just the most overused of them all.
Why?
I don't know why people overuse theme parks. I think it's just a childhood innocent
No,
thing.
I mean, I'm struggling to think of evil amusement park.
I can think of
I
like at
don't
least
think
3.
evil amusement park. In my experience, I have not encountered a lot of evil amusement parks.
I'm thinking Carnival. That's kind of an obscure pull, but I can at least 3 different Scooby-Doo episodes.
Oh yeah, well that's Scooby Doo. You can put anything in Scooby Doo.
That's fair. But okay, thank you for reminding me. By the time we get back, I'm going to have there's a Wikipedia page out there somewhere. They have those unusual article things where it's like a list of all houses built out of spite. Somewhere there's a list of all haunted amusement parks in fiction. And I'm going to spend a solid 20 minutes of that video just reading down that list to spite you for saying that, or in this video. Just you wait.
Okay.
God, those unusual article things can be really strange.
Yeah, it really hammers home how superhuman we are. That their bullets do like nothing.
Yeah, they're dangerous, but in the same way that, getting hit by something is dangerous. For the most part, it just doesn't. It's just an irritation. It just causes slight damage. Yeah, we are at the point where things that are dangerous for a human and completely lethal for a human are mildly dangerous for us. The gradations just, all the differences just get smoothed out by the scale.
Honestly, I can't wait for one mission in Tokyo that is another terrible fucking mystery mission. Oh my god, you have to go throughout the entire game and find 3 floppy disks. Each floppy disk has a text adventure on it. Then you have to play each text adventure to completion. Keep in mind, they don't tell you all the commands you can use, so it's literally like playing an old text adventure. It's terrible.
I just took a screenshot. I'm going to post it in the thread. I felt the need, and I pulled up the TV tropes page for amusement parks of Doom, and it takes a couple scrolls just to get through the different genres of examples. So I just cannot wait.
Radar module activated.
I guarantee you, I haven't heard of like any of them.
Item located.
Have you heard of? Yeah. Oh, in Pinocchio.
God, it's been forever.
And there's also a couple that show up in. There's one that shows up in Discworld.
I've never read Discworld.
How dare you? That's, in my mind, that's worse than not having seen Avatar. I'm so disappointed in you, Mycroft Holmes.
Like, I just never felt the need to read it, so.
It's just a lack of interest, not to your tastes, or what?
I heard a lot about it, but all the hype just made me go, oh, it's just an offbeat fantasy that's kind of breaks the mold. I'm not really a fantasy reader.
It's not fantasy. It's related, but it's fantasy in the same way that this is fantasy. Like, it uses similar tropes, but it's an entirely different. Let me put it this way: fantasy has those really specific like moods and feelings to it. It has it has a uniform presentation. Discworld does not at all have that presentation. It's a lot Usually,
We're literally gonna finish it with you ranting about Discworld.
yeah. Yeah, oh well. There's Nicholas Winter. All right, I'm going to shut up and ask. And it looks like we're done, actually. Never mind.